different stations across the country and around the world. And right now, live in our studios, we have Rabbi Josh Pruzansky with us. He's the director of Agudas Israel in New Jersey. And joining us via the phone, is he on the line yet, ZK? Or we got him, Rabbi Refoel Zucker from the Torah U'Masorah Convention, one of the founders and senior board member of Agudas Israel of New Jersey, well-known Askin and also spends his summer at Oorah's Girl Zone, where his wife, Mrs. Zucker, volunteers for Girl Zone, and she ran the teen program, now runs the office in Girl Zone. Welcome, both of you, to the Oorah radio-thon.
Rabbi Schwartz, Rabbi Weinstein, everyone.
Okay, it's our pleasure. And, you know, we're living in recessionary times, and things are getting tough out there in the schools. There's tuition crises all around. How does that affect the yeshivas and day schools, and how does that impact on government funding?
Only in a very positive way. You know, Baruch Hashem, most of our yeshivas are struggling to survive, as we know, whether it's here in New Jersey or anywhere in the United States. The tuitions are down, contributions are down. So how do we pick up the pieces? How do we continue? How do the yeshivas find a way to continue to survive, and as well as not taxing the parents with even higher tuitions? So basically, our theory is one way to do that, and the best way to do that, and that would be governmental funding through school vouchers. And that's
Is that going to happen?
Well, listen, we all hope it's going to happen. It's happened already in several states in the country. It's happened in Florida. It's happened in Ohio, in Georgia, in Utah. So there's a chance that it could happen here as well.
Is President Obama predisposed to that?
Well, President Obama runs the federal government. School vouchers usually are done on a state-by-state basis. So on the federal level, I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're hoping it's going to happen on the state level.
How does Governor Patterson shape up?
Oh, he's a great guy, but he's in New York. Here in New Jersey, we have Governor Corzine, and right now he is not predisposed to school vouchers, but as we say, anything could change, and there is an election coming up.
Mm-hmm. Rabbi Zucker, what do you have to add?
Well, I would tell you, having spent Shabbos with probably close to 1,000 Mechanchim, and seeing their dedication and incredible Mesiras Nefesh, I think it's incumbent on us to do what we can. Clearly, if we remain, let's just say if we don't get united behind our Moses, we will fail. New Jersey specifically, and I'll let Josh speak more to the legislative issues, we have an ability, we have an opportunity to go ahead if we unite, and it's not going to take a lot of crisis, it's not going to take a lot of money, but if we unite with our voting power and the 30 or so districts where we have schools and Moses all over New Jersey, we can begin to affect. We have to take on the teachers' unions, and we have the ability to do that. You know, Oorah's involvement in our efforts started when we were at an Aguda convention, and Rabbi Mintz heard us speak about how we have to get together. And he was there, Hineni, what can we do to get involved as well? And we can do it. We have already meetings set up, next on the 24th in Lakewood, with Menalim from all over the schools to try to get parents involved. Parents who, even if you're paying full tuition, but especially if somebody's struggling to make it on their own, it's incumbent on everybody to do what they can to try to help out in other ways. And if we could do it at the polls, and if we could do it through lobbying our legislators, we must do it.
Okay, I think it goes a little further than that, and Refoel's very passionate on this idea. If we take a look at it, we did a school census just a few months ago. There are 117 yeshivas here in New Jersey with 27,000 children ages grades K through 12. We figured out that right now we're spending as a community in aggregate over $200 million in tuition to keep our schools going. And on top of that, we're spending $100 million in property taxes. We're the highest property tax state in the nation. And that $100 million, of that property tax is geared specifically and solely towards public school education. 50% of that goes to the local school districts, and 50% goes to the Abbott districts around the state. So, for instance, if you're living in Lakewood and you're paying $10,000 in property tax, $6,000 of those dollars go to public school education, $3,000 will stay in Lakewood, $3,000 will go to pay for kids in Newark and Camden and Trenton. Now, I know as parents who are struggling to survive, spending all that money to go to kids in Newark, Camden, and Trenton is not something you want to spend your money on. So there is a bill out there, a school voucher bill. We're hopeful that we will get together as a community to fight for it, to get it passed. Money will come in and will help two things. Number one, it will help those kids in public schools who can't afford to go to private school, have the ability through a school voucher to go to a yeshiva or any non-public school. So say, for instance, Oorah, which spends its time and its money helping these kids go to yeshiva, will be helped immensely by the passage of this bill, because now it takes those kids who are in the public schools and whose parents can't afford to send them to yeshiva, will now have a voucher to go to any yeshiva. They can go from here, they can go to Shalom Torah, they can go anywhere. And also it will help the kids in yeshivas today. Parents who have kids currently in yeshiva will help them pay the bills as well.
What about the separation of church and state? Those who claim that, what the government getting involved in this?
That's a great question. The answer is that when it comes to these vouchers, the money goes to the parent. It doesn't go to the school. So the parent can then spend that voucher wherever they decide to.
I'd just like to mention another angle.
Sure.
Tax credits are clearly not a constitutional problem, and there are communities that are gearing up to get together and follow something that's done by the Catholics called the parish system, where you can go ahead and you do not pay tuition directly to the school, but a group of moises get together, it's paid to them, and it does help tax deductions. Something, again, as a community, together, we can work it out and we can really make it happen.
I'd just like to also thank Oorah. Oorah has partnered with us in this great idea, this great advocacy work on behalf of school vouchers. And I have to thank Rabbi Eliyahu Mintz and Rabbi Yeshua Weinstein, who have come forth really to not only help us verbally, but they're putting their money where their mouths are, and it's a big help to our organization, and we thank them profusely. And
okay, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, explaining that rather complicated subject.
What could an individual who hears what you're saying, what could an individual do? Obviously, you guys are working under the organization of Agudas Yisroel. What could Pliny in Lakewood do to help you guys?
Thank you for that question.
I know what Josh will say. Join Agudas Yisroel.
What would Refoel Zucker say?
Well, I think that it does take a little bit of money. I mean, Josh, we sat down and we made a cheshbon that if each and every person who has a child in school would just spend between $18 to $36 a year, which is paltry compared to the amount of tuition we pay for that child to go into a war chest, we could put together an incredible political action committee that would begin to be able to take on the teachers union. That's just one of many suggestions.
But I would suggest becoming a member of Agudas Yisrael, and also signing up. We need to build an army, and if everyone would join together, again, Josh Pruzansky or Agudas Yisrael walking into Trenton representing 100,000 people is different from Josh Pruzansky walking into Trenton or Agudas Yisrael walking into Trenton representing only a few people. And one other thing I would just like to say is that everyone should help support this wonderful organization, Oorah, and really do their best to keep this organization going. Like I told Rabbi Weinstein, and I wrote in my article in the Shopper this week, that, when it came to Oorah a few years ago, I didn't know what Oorah was doing. In fact, I just, besides the guy eating the pickle and Kirby and cucumber and 1877 Cars for Kids, I really had no clue what Oorah did. But I've seen the camp. It's a beautiful boys and girls on a beautiful campus that really could compete with any camp in the world, and that's what gets the kids to come. They have beautiful programming. They invited me to a Shabbaton. I was there until 2 o'clock in the morning. It was wonderful, beautiful. And I was in this room a few months ago, and I saw all the packages outside for the Purim Shalach Monos, and I heard about the tremendous Suda that they had. They do tremendous work, and really the support that they need from the community, if you guys can go out there and support them to do their work and for us to do our work, I think we'll be much better off. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh Pruzansky, Refoel Zucker, Oorah's partnership with Agudas Israel of New Jersey.